Okay, so let's proceed with the last speaker, the third one, and we switch a little bit subject. So we are talking nerdy to you. Okay. If you wish. So the speaker is Lea Daling from RWTH Aachen from Germany, and her talk will be about talking nerdy to me, improving your science communication skills. Thank you, Lea.
Thank you, guys, and hi, everyone. A very exclusive session, but that's good. It's not bad. Maybe you wonder about the title. This is not a topic-wise or content-related presentation, as I'm not a geologist, I'm not a mining engineer, I'm a psychologist. Maybe you wonder why I'm here on stage, why I'm in the project, because we think educational skills matter also for scientists. And I choose this title because I like when people talk nerdy to me, but I want them to do it right. So maybe you will take some tips and hints how to effectively communicate your science results. Short introduction about me. This is me, like at least the head. I'm from Germany, the western part. I'm not from Aachen, but I'm working in Aachen, close to the border to Belgium and the Netherlands, in a big mechanical engineering institute, as you can see there. As I told you, I'm not a mechanical engineer, but I'm working with them, which is sometimes really interesting, challenging, but also enlightening, because working interdisciplinary means you always have to properly explain what you do, because you cannot know that anybody understands what you do. So this is something I learned when I talked to engineers and other scientists from natural sciences, that they face some issues about not being understood by people that are not their scientific peers. And that happens often. So let's talk a bit about talking nerdy. So imagine, as you presented today, or some of you, you have wonderful research, but nobody understands. That's so sad. Why is that? There are actually two ways that we are focusing on today that you can use to improve your science communication. One of this is focusing on your audience, thinking before you have a presentation about who is sitting there, who's listening to me. Is that someone who's experienced in the topic, someone who's completely new to it, grandparents, aunts, family? Is that friends? Whatever it is, think of it before, and how to do it I will tell you later. And the second part is, what are your aims? What are you aiming at when you're presenting science results to others? We saw a lot of amazing videos today, and I feel some of them had different aims. Some maybe wanted to entertain, some wanted to inform, but it's very important to think of it before creating science communication. So let's first talk about the target group adaptation. Come in, welcome. Hi. So let's talk about the why, what, and how of target group adaptation. Why to adapt a presentation to a target group? Very easy. The focus is not on you. The focus is always on the recipient. So who is listening to your presentation is the one who should understand what you're doing. This means you have determined who is the audience, and you have to prepare your content so that it reaches your audience. Each target group has different needs, and each target group has to be addressed in a different way. So, what to consider? What is actually to consider when you're thinking about your audience? This might be one simple thing already applying for the presentations of today. You have a very heterogeneous audience, like people of different ages, people of different backgrounds, people of different interests, and this is something you have to have in mind. Also, opinions, expectations, maybe the partners of the consortium are expecting something different from your science results than the peers who are also doing research. The prior knowledge, So for me, as a psychologist, a lot of presentations were like, wow, I don't understand a word. But for most of the peers that were listening to you today were like, this is known to me. This is a topic I'm also researching on. So it was very appropriate. I was the one who was maybe the alien in the room. Think about their benefits. How could they benefit from your presentation? Is there a call to action they can apply? And of course, the group size and their physical and mental form. I have the last presentation of today. I can think of not a big group size and maybe a bit of tiredness, a bit of, wow, that was a long and intense day. I do not want to have a lot of input, so I try to really keep it short for you today. So, how to address it? When you think of your audience, you could either imagine a person. I always say, if you can explain it to your grandparents, you will be able to explain it to anyone. That could be a good test for you. But other than that, you can create a persona, for example, thinking about a specific person that you're telling your results to. And if you're addressing them, tell them what their benefit is. Not, I'm going to show you today, these are my results and my methodology and my research institute. Tell them about your benefits and what you are going to take out of the presentation, what you have to change if you want to be more sustainable in mining, for example. So I guess we just had 2 very good examples before this presentation. So thanks to you. And if you have the second part in mind, the aims and structure of a presentation, that's actually very easy and something after I saw the videos, I was like, okay, they know how to do it. So also why, what, and how. Why to think about the aim of a presentation or what could be an aim of a presentation. As I already told you, you want to inform. Some people want to educate and explain, and I guess that was also the mission of some of the videos we saw today. But some also want to convince, because maybe they're presenting to an audience who gives money to researchers. You can inspire or motivate. You can eliminate uncertainties. And you can also decide just to entertain. That's fine, if this is the aim of your presentation. But I guess the most important aim that you should have in mind is people should have you in mind after the presentation. Be memorable. After this day, be the one who sticks in people's mind because your presentation was amazing. That's something that's not very easy to reach, to be honest. So, what to do? Really easy, really clear. Just structure your presentation in 3 main parts. A short introduction, about 15% of slides, time, whatever of your presentation, where you greet the audience, where you introduce yourself, where you tell a bit about your story. Because I saw a lot of conference presentations where people started like this. Hello, these are my research results. I'm reading from my slide, and I guess you won't be, oh, no one saw me, sorry, but I need to read from my slide. And no one introduces himself. That was really, it was crazy, to be honest. So please say who you are if you do a presentation and nobody knows you. Then comes the main body of a presentation, 75% roundabout. Bring your main information, arguments, and after all, the conclusion, where it's really important to say what are the key points, what is the takeaway for the audience, and also what's the call to action, what do you want from them. How to do it? Choose a simple and concise, comprehensible structure. Prepare a logical sequence of your arguments, meaning bring your strongest arguments at the beginning or at the end. This is also psychological effects. Things that you say in the beginning and at the end will stick to people's mind. Everything in between is nice, la 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 la, and the brain will just not remember it. Say it in the beginning and at the end. And create nice transitions that make it easy to follow. So the work of thinking should be done by you, not by the audience. The audience should be taken with through a story. No complicated formulations. Try to explain terms and avoid heavy jargon. So it's not good to use a lot of words that people don't know. It sounds smart, it sounds intelligent, but if no one understands what's what's the matter? I mean, who's profiting from it? And of course, that's a very easy thing to do. Try to use verbs like, we will do this and that. We are doing, or we are producing research results, and we can change our world towards more sustainability, for example. Instead of, we hope to create results that might help you in the future, but we are planning to make our planet better. So make it concrete. Visualization, very important. Eyes, ears, and hearts. So visualization helps you to somehow underline what you wanted to say, but this is something that goes in the emotional part of people's minds. So if you want to stay, or if you want to have a statement that sticks to somebody's mind, don't just say it, but support it with a picture. People either want to read or they will listen to you, but they cannot do both at the same time. So say something and support it with images. And less is more. Maximum 2 to 3 media per presentation. I guess that's something really, really important, because if you show a video and then a slide and then you have, I have a flip chart with me and I have a poster with me, and you do everything at the same time, that's just overloading. So keep it simple and delete any information that is not necessary to convey your message. Key takeaways. Think about your audience. Be aware of your aim of the presentation. Talk about why a finding matters rather than how you reach that finding. And use a simple structure and images to support your statements. And my call to action is talk nerdy to me, but in the right way. And never forget, practice, practice, practice. You do not have to achieve all of this at the same time. So I would say if you already start to apply this to your research right now, you will be one of the best researchers in the future. Thank you for listening.
So thank you very much, Lea. Are there questions from the audience? Well, I must confess that it's never too much to be reminded of these tips to give a successful and convincing presentation. I have a problem with the level of certainty you ask researchers to have in their presentation, because it is very difficult for us to be so assertive. We will do that. Yeah. We have reached, because we have always a degree of uncertainty in our results. But we will do our best to follow your tips. I see that there is a question from the audience. Yes,
Thank
Susanna.
You.
No, it's like
Should be fine. 1, 2, 3. I'm Susanna. I was the first presenter.
I know.
And you
I
just
know you.
told me my peers understood everything and you didn't have a clue. I am proud of myself speaking simply so that everybody can understand. Please tell me this was just a routine sentence in your presentation and that you did understand most of my presentation, please.
I did, thank you. And I also enjoyed your personal introduction in the beginning that directly took people to your emotions. So I was like, yes, that's a good example. I was talking about all the presentations about the raw materials topic today. And of course, I'm like in the project since 5 years already. I know most of the topics. I mostly understand what's happening, but it was an example.
Thank you very much, really. It was really good to repeat some of these good points. We are really trying hard in our team to as you say, make as lively and as understandable presentations as we could. So this was a wonderful repetition of the good rules.
Thank you too.
Thank you so much.
A couple of questions like before. So from your personal experience being a psychologist working with engineers mainly, in your opinion, what are the keys for us working in physics or chemistry, and then trying to explain our research to, let's say, not specialized people, what are the topics or the keywords that are most interesting or can catch the attention?
Ooh, that's a hard question, but I guess the first step is already taken by reflecting on that somebody might not understand what you're saying right away. I guess that's the first thing to do, and that's the best thing to do in the first place. So if you are aware that someone might not understand everything of your research, perfect. Then there's the way to change it. And I guess there's no list of buzzwords or keywords that I could tell you that is easy to understand, but I would say there are a lot of words or terms that are also used, for example, in psychology as in engineering, but in a completely different manner. So think about terms that might be somehow understandable in many ways and clarify what you mean by giving examples, by giving maybe applications of your research. Why does it matter to me? That makes it easier for me.
Maybe also a comment than a question is that usually in our industry we have troubles that a lot of people are talking about how and very often missing why. And that I think is crucially important in the presentations to say. But I think this should be distributed to all our colleagues and with a couple of exclamation marks say, please use.
Thank you. When we did like 3 years in a row, we did a workshop that was called Talk Nerdy to Me with mining engineers. And I always used the RMET Schools example treasure in my pocket that I saw here like 5 years ago, which was a video of students in the first years. And I was like, this is an example of how does it work? Like, this is perfect. And they were like, ah, yeah, okay. And I guess they really took something from it. So yeah, thank you.
I have a question. Nice presentation, thank you. I was thinking, because we are also presenting the video this day, I was thinking about a balance between being entertaining and as it is fun, and don't block the audience, so it is also professional and it's not like making too much fun of it. How do you think it is possible to find a balance between these two?
I guess most of you had a good balance, and as you said it's experience. If you are trying to be too funny and your results are not that strong, people will notice, I guess. And if you notice that being a presenter trying to be entertaining and then you feel like, ooh, maybe that was too much, you will feel it directly. Take it as a feedback and also try to fail as often as possible so you learn from it. So don't have the aim to do it perfectly from the beginning. It's completely fine to do it a bit too much entertaining, a bit too much information, and then finding your perfect middle way in between after years of experience.
Okay, and maybe I have one more question.
Yes, sure.
Because the scientific papers are kind of written in very formal way. And do you think there is a way to make not only the presentation of them better, but to also maybe don't use as formal language and in the official papers, and to make also these original ones more popular and more funny and easier to understand?
Yes and no. I would say it's very important that your scientific community is addressed as the scientific community. So I think scientific research papers should be mainly scientific research papers. But what you can do is take your results from a scientific research paper and make it available to public audiences in white papers, for example. White paper is something that summarizes main results in a really easy formulated way that everyone can understand it, and you can reference to your original work, but still, I would say it's also valid to have the scientific community and to have scientific words about science.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I? I would like to ask you, do you have some psychological tips how to, when you are presenting, for example, when you have a publicum made of investors, how to make them think that you are right, even though if you're not right? Like,
This is manipulation.
yeah, but do you have some tips how to make it, like, to act really trustable for the audience?
Wow, that's...
Because imagine the situation that you are presenting the results of your work, and you would like to start a startup, but you have to present it in a very nice way to receive money from the investors. So how to do it?
That's a complex question, and I'm also not sure if I could really recommend to make something sound nice, which I do not find nice, or which is not nice in reality. So maybe I would rather think about this before. And if you have something that you are convinced of and you want to convince someone else, I guess they will notice that you are convinced by just first of all being convinced and showing that, and just making clear that this is something that matters to them. So what will change if they invest in your research project or in whatever you do? So I guess if you are convinced that it's good for you, they will probably not care, as long as it doesn't matter for them. So that could maybe be one point, but there are many more, and I guess it could be a day talking about this. But I can recommend a lot of boot camps if you wish. Yeah.
Ethic principles cannot be overpassed by communication skills. So
yeah. So communication is a lot, and it's important. And I guess maybe there are people who could convince of something that's probably not right, or people don't find it right. But that is really high level, and I'm not sure if this should be the aim. So I would say content first, and then the communication of it.
So I am very proud of our sorry.
Okay, thank you very much.
Because I was happy we are in time, but you know there's time for another question.
Oh, thank you. One question. You said we have to be memorable with the presentation, and the other thing, we don't use more methods, like 3 or 4 in a presentation. For example, videos. This is not. I thought if I use more methodologies, more methods, I have more memorable. This is not. I don't understand this problem. Thank you.
Not super easy to answer, but I would say if you are the one presenting 20 different media or 20 different ways to show what you did, then you are memorable, but maybe not as the best presenter. So I would say 2 to 3 media means your message should be very simple, so your ways to convey the message should also be simple. And within a video, of course, there are different media allowed, but this is the media of the video, right? So if you use a video and a PowerPoint presentation and a flip chart and a poster, and maybe you also have, I don't know, a dance prepared that underlines what you're showing, that's maybe a bit overloading. So it would be a sign for me that you would like to keep the attention away from the content, more to the media presenting the content. Is that understandable? Okay.
Any other questions? So, for the first time in history of RM at schools, I think we are finished in perfect time. It's 4 p.m. So I invite you to go.